All right, welcome. Let's talk about one of the most common and frankly annoying check engine codes that pops up for Chevy and GMC owners. If that little light is staring you in the face, we're gonna figure this out together.
So you plugged in your scanner and it spit out P0446. Now you're wondering, what on earth does that even mean? Is my truck about to fall apart? Can I fix this myself? Well, you've come to the right place.
Okay, that is the official super technical mouthful. Evaporative Emission Control System Vent Control Circuit Malfunction. Sounds pretty intimidating, right? But don't worry, we're going to break down what that actually means for your vehicle in plain English.
So, to really get a handle on this code, you first got to understand the system it's talking about. The best way to think about your EVAP system is like a little recycling plant for gas fumes that's built right into your car.
Its whole mission in life is pretty simple: to capture all those raw gasoline vapors coming off the fuel in your tank before they can just float off into the atmosphere. It's a huge part of what keeps your car running clean.
And it's a really clever little journey. Those vapors get collected and sent to a charcoal canister. You can basically picture it as a sponge for gas fumes. Then when the time is right, a valve opens up and the engine just sips those fumes in and burns them for power. It's a completely sealed system that turns would-be pollution into a tiny bit of extra go.
Okay, so the code is telling us there's a problem with the vent control circuit. But what part is usually the one causing all the trouble? Let's hunt down the prime suspect.
Yeah, when you're talking about a P0446 code, there's one part that is overwhelmingly the bad guy. A faulty vent valve is the culprit a whopping 70% of the time, so that makes it our #1 place to start looking.
So why this one little part? Well, it kind of lives a tough life. It's usually tucked up underneath the vehicle, right near the fuel tank, where it gets blasted with road grime, dirt, dust, water. I've even seen them clogged up with spider webs. All that abuse can make it stick open or closed, or cause the wiring to just give up.
All right, enough talk. It's time for an action plan. We're going to walk through a diagnostic checklist, and we're going to start with the easiest, simplest stuff first.
Before you even dream of grabbing a wrench, check your gas cap. I'm serious. The entire EVAP system has to be perfectly sealed to work, and the gas cap is a massive part of that seal. Make sure you tighten it until it clicks a few times and take a look at the rubber seal on it. If it's all cracked and dried out, that could be your whole problem right there.
Okay, gas cap is good? Cool. Now let's go after our prime suspect, the vent valve itself. You're probably going to have to get under the vehicle for this. Find the black plastic box near the fuel tank. That's the charcoal canister, and the vent valve will be attached to it or right next to it.
Now get a really good look at it. Is it just caked in mud? Are the wires looking frayed? Is the electrical connector loose or full of green corrosion? And hey, here's a pro tip for you. If you have a decent scan tool, you can actually tell the valve to open and close. If you do that and hear a nice solid click, you know the electrical part of it is probably fine. But if you hear nothing, well, you've likely found your problem.
So what if the valve looks okay and seems to be working? Well, the next logical step is a leak somewhere else in the system. Start tracing all those plastic and rubber hoses that run from the canister toward the engine. You're looking for anything that looks cracked, brittle, or has popped loose.
But here's the thing. Finding a teeny tiny pinhole leak in one of those lines with just your eyes is next to impossible. And that's exactly why the pros have a secret weapon for this job.
It's a smoke machine, and it's as simple as it sounds. A mechanic hooks it up and gently pumps a special harmless smoke into the whole EVAP system. Then you just watch. Wherever you see a little wisp of smoke escaping from, bingo, that's your leak. It is, without a doubt, the fastest way to find those sneaky little cracks.
Okay, so you've checked the gas cap, you've inspected the vent valve, you've looked for obvious leaks, and that stubborn check engine light is still on. If you're stuck, the problem might be something a little more complex.
At this point, you might be looking at things that are just trickier to diagnose without some specialized gear. We're talking about a bad pressure sensor, maybe the charcoal canister itself is cracked or just full of gas, or you could be chasing a wiring problem. There's even another valve, the purge valve, up near the engine that could be the issue.
Think of the fuel tank pressure sensor as the system's spy. It's constantly reporting back to the car's computer about what the pressure is inside the system. But if that sensor goes bad, it can start sending false reports, basically lying to the computer and tricking it into throwing a code when nothing is actually wrong with the system itself. It's a classic case of shooting the messenger.
So here's the bottom line.
Most of the time, you can drive around with a P0446 code and you won't notice a single thing wrong with how your truck performs. It's not going to leave you stranded on the side of the road, but, and this is a big but, that check engine light is an automatic fail on an emissions test pretty much everywhere. So you absolutely have to get it fixed before your next inspection.
And there you have it. From the super simple gas cap check to the vent valve and all the way to smoke tests, you now have a solid roadmap to follow. You know what that P0446 code means, you know the usual suspects, and you know exactly how to start hunting down the problem. So what do you say? Are you ready to get that light turned off for good?